Hi, I just wanted to make a quick video demonstration of how to synchronize the Teenage Engineering Pocket operators to an external device, which I have here is a Roland TR-707 drum machine. The purpose is to be able to synchronize the operators up to essentially a MIDI source. So the TR-707, as well as a number of older drum machines and sequencers that have MIDI, also have what is called like trigger output, which is how the operators can be synced themselves. So there's no MIDI I/O or input at all on the operators. So the only way to synchronize them is using some sort of trigger output, like clock source. So on these old Roland drum machines, it's common for them to have trigger output on the back, which utilizes the Rimshot as the way of creating a clock, basically creating a clock generator that will then send a pulse signal out to whatever devices that accept a clock input. So I was this 707. I was doing some repair work on it recently, getting it ready to sell to a buddy of mine, and as I was testing it out, it just got me thinking, I should be able to use the Rimshot output to synchronize the operators, which in turn I could synchronize the 707 itself from a MIDI source. So it would sort of work as a MIDI to clock generator conversion for the operators, which would then allow me to use it in my regular MIDI setup, which is nice. Just a side note on the 707 and 727s. So I bought this unit a while back. It was broken. I bought it knowing it was broken. It was really cheap. And a common failure on these units is the power jack just goes bad. And it's actually a fairly simple and quick repair. I found a seller on eBay selling replacement jacks. So I had purchased one, removed the old jack, soldered in the new one, and the unit works fine. So just to note, if you happen to see a 707 that, for sale that's listed as broken and doesn't power on, it could be something as simple as just replacing that power jack. It's a common failure. I have a 727 that had the jack replaced at some point, so just something to keep an eye out on. Well, anyways, so back to the operators. So to get this set up, what you need to do is you're going to have to first run a 3.5mm cable from the trigger output jack on the back of the 707 into the clock input of the operator. So I have two operators here. I have the Arcade and the Tonic. So on the first one, we run the signal from the 707 into the input, which is the left jack, and then from the operator output, which is an audio and clock output, I run that into the second operator, and then I have this output cable running into my mixer. So after you get that set up, then the next thing you need to do is configure the sync modes on the operators. So to do that, you just have to hold down on the Arcade. In the Tonic, it's a different function, but it's always this upper right button here. You'll just hold down on here, it's the chord button, and then press the BPM to select sync mode 5. So the first one, you're going to want to set that to 5, and then on the second one, we are going to set that to sync mode 4. So after you have that set, the next thing you need to do is program a pattern into the 707 to include the rim shots. So the rim shots, the pulse signals sent to the operators are triggered by each rim shot that's programmed in. So in order to get the sequencers on the operators to play at the right tempo, speed, I found that on this you're going to want to program in eighth notes for the rim shot. You can program in quarter notes or 16th notes, but that will essentially run the sequencers at either half the speed or double the speed. So like I said, to get them to run at the tempo the same tempo that you have set on the 707, you're going to want to enter in eighth notes. So on the 707, we just go into pattern step right mode, and then I already have the rim shots programmed in, but I'll go ahead and just demonstrate it again. So you have to go ahead, on the 707, you have to go ahead and start the sequencer. So let me go ahead and clear all these out. So when you clear it out, you'll see the play LED will just be steady on the first unit, and then on the second unit here it's flashing. Something to note, the sequencers on the operators, they will not reset whenever you stop and start the sequencer on the 707. So wherever you stop that, it could be like halfway into this particular pattern. When you press start again on the 707, it's just going to pick up where it left off. So in order to reset the sequencer back to the beginning, you're just going to have to hit play a couple times to stop it and start it. That will reset it back to the beginning of the pattern. So when we go ahead and hit play again, so you'll see that nothing will run until I go ahead and start entering in those eighth notes. So I had the volume down. Let me turn the volume back up on the 707. So there's our 707 pattern. Now let's go ahead and punch in these eighth notes. So as you see, the sequencer started once the rim shots were programmed in. The timing, I mean, it's not the tightest, but I think it's fine. I mean, you know, what do you expect for having, you know, an old drum machine like this and synchronizing it using a clock output signal? So let me go ahead and stop and start these. Maybe it'll start up a little bit tighter. So with the outputs on the operators, we can adjust the volume. So to turn down the volume of the first unit in the chain, you know, you just hold in the BPM and then hit the first button, the number 1 in the pattern. That will turn the volume off. Just now it's just running the tonic. Now on the tonic side, since it's the last operator in the chain, it's the master output for any other units behind it. So if you turn the volume down on that, so let's go ahead and turn this one back up. If you turn the volume down on this, it's going to turn down the volume on all the other units. So the last one in the chain, you're not going to really be able to adjust the volume by itself. I mean, you could probably, I don't even know if there would be any way of doing it through some kind of splitter or something, but you know, that's just how it is. So Go ahead and turn it back up. And like I was mentioning, you can put in just quarter notes, for example, and the sequence will run. It'll just run at half the tempo. And then if you put in 16th notes, you'll see it just runs really fast. Which, I mean, there could be uses for that as well, but if you just want it to run at the same tempo as the master clock, you'll just want to put in 8th notes. So anyways, yeah, I just wanted to demonstrate this. Like I said, I was just playing around on my 707 and got the idea that I should be able to use this, because I kind of was thinking recently, you know, how would I be able to sync these operators up to a MIDI source so, you know, I could use them with all my other MIDI gear, and it got me thinking with the 707 that this should work, and sure enough, I mean, it works pretty well. So you know, I just wanted to show a demonstration of it for anybody else that might want to do the same thing with their operators. Well, thanks for watching.